Virgo, stop scrolling. I need you to hear me right now because the cards have been screaming your name for 3 days straight, and I cannot in good conscience pull for anyone else until you receive this. Something is coming to you in August 2026 that is so large, so specific, so unmistakably yours, that you are going to look back at this exact moment and say, I remember the second my life split into before and after. I am talking about a financial shift so complete, so total, that the version of you who sets an alarm for a job you tolerate will not recognize the version of you who wakes up in October with no obligation, no debt, no grinding. The deck is showing me abundance arriving not as a trickle but as a flood, and it is not luck. It is back pay from the universe for every year you overgave and underreceived. Put your phone flat, uncross your arms. Let your shoulders drop. You are about to be told something that changes the architecture of your next decade, and I need your body open to receive it. I know what you are thinking. You are thinking, I have heard readings before. I have hoped before. I checked my email, my bank app, my phone, expecting a miracle, and the screen just stared back at me empty. And you are right to be guarded. You are Virgo. You did not survive by being gullible. You survived by being the one who reads the fine print, who triple checks, who assumes nothing is free until the receipt is in your hand. So I will not ask you to believe me yet. I will only ask you to stay for the next few minutes while I lay out what the cards are showing me. And you will feel in your chest whether it is yours. That is all I need. You do not owe me your faith. You owe yourself the chance to listen before you decide it is not for you. And here is the thing that keeps pulling me back to record this for you specifically. It is not generic. The cards keep showing a very particular shape, a very particular wound, a very particular door. And if you have spent the last 2 years feeling like you were working twice as hard to receive half as much, if you have watched other people glide into ease while you bled for every small win, then you are the Virgo I was told to speak to tonight. You found this. But I need you to understand something with full honesty before we go deeper. I do not know your name. I do not know your face. I do not know whether you are watching this in a kitchen in Ohio at midnight, or in a car parked outside your second job, or in a bedroom in Lagos where the fan is the only sound. I know the shape. I know the emotional signature. I know the timing the deck is insisting on, and that is enough. The cards do not need your address, they need your frequency. And yours has been broadcasting a very specific question for months now. When does it stop? When do I get to rest? The answer is in this reading. The answer is August 2026. And the mechanism by which it arrives is so concrete, so documentable, that you will not have to wonder whether it is real. You will hold it, you will read it. You will show someone else and say, look at this. I am going to lay out a spread now that I have only pulled twice in 4 years because it demands a level of specificity that most readings do not require. I am calling it the Inheritance of Ease spread. 14 cards, 14 positions, and it is not a general future pull. It is a forensic reconstruction of how your abundance was blocked, who or what blocked it, what is dissolving right now to release it, the exact form it takes when it lands, and the 3 months of evidence that follow to prove it was not a fluke. This spread is rare because it does not let me soften anything. Each position demands a concrete answer. There is no vague energy here. There is no good things are coming. There is a document. There is a number. There is a person or institution. There is a date range. And I will walk you through every single position before I flip a single card so you understand the architecture of what is being revealed. The first position is called the weight you carried. It shows me the specific form your financial exhaustion took, not general tiredness, the specific shape. For some of you, it was a job that paid just enough to keep you trapped but never enough to let you breathe. For others, it was a family obligation where you became the financial spine for people who never asked if your own spine was cracking. Notice which one just tightened your jaw. That reaction is information. That is your body confirming your thread. The second position is the invisible tax. This is the hidden drain you did not name because it was so constant you mistook it for normal life. A subscription you forgot, a debt you minimized, a person who borrowed and never returned, a skill you gave away for free because you were taught that charging felt greedy. The third position is the hand that held the gate shut, and before you flinch. This is not always a villain. Sometimes it is an institution. Sometimes it is your own perfectionism that said, not yet, you are not ready, wait 1 more year. The fourth position is the crack in the gate. the thing that is happening right now, this month. That is breaking the seal. The fifth position is the messenger. The person, the email, the phone call, the letter that carries the news. The sixth position is the number. The deck shows me a figure or a range. The seventh position is the proof document, the physical or digital artifact you will hold. The eighth position is the first exhale, what you do in the first 24 hours after it lands. The ninth position is the relationship that shifts because of it. The 10th position is the door that was locked and now simply is not. The 11th position is the old identity that dissolves. The 12th position is the soft life blueprint, what your Tuesday looks like in November. The 13th position is the confirmation. The second event, 2 to 4 weeks later, that proves the first was not an accident. And the 14th position is the vow you make to yourself. The promise the cards are asking you to whisper tonight. 14 cards, 14 answers. No padding, no filler. I am going to flip them now one by one, and I need you to stay in your body. If a sentence lands and your stomach drops or your eyes sting, do not scroll past it. That is your thread. That is your confirmation. We are beginning. The first card turns and it is the Ten of Wands reversed. And I need you to understand what this means in this position, because it is not just tiredness. The Ten of Wands upright is the person carrying a load. Reversed, in the position of the weight you carried, it is the person who carried the load so long that they forgot they were allowed to set it down. The cards are showing me that for some of you, this weight was a specific job. You took it because it was available, because someone said you were lucky to get it, because the pay was just enough to cover rent and one small pleasure a month. And then 3 years passed, 4 years, and the title never changed. The number never moved. But your responsibilities doubled, tripled, and you kept saying yes because saying no felt like ingratitude. You told yourself, at least it is stable. And that sentence became a cage. For others of you, the weight was not a job, it was a role inside your family. You became the one who covered the gap. A parent's medical bill, a sibling's rent when they lost their position, a partner who said, just this once, and this once became 47 onces. You did not call it a burden because calling it that felt selfish. You called it love. You called it duty. And the cards are telling me tonight that you were allowed to call it exhausting. You were allowed to grieve the years you spent being the infrastructure for everyone else's survival, while your own account hovered near zero. Notice which one just made your throat tighten, the job or the family. Hold that, that is your thread, and I will keep weaving it through every card that follows. The second card flips, the Four of Pentacles reversed, the invisible tax, upright. This card is gripping, hoarding, holding on out of fear. Reversed in this position, it is the slow leak you never noticed because it was so small and so constant. The deck is insisting that something has been draining your resources in a way you normalized. For some of you, this is literal. A recurring expense you set up 2 years ago during a stressful week and never canceled. A loan you co-signed. A subscription, a payment plan, a small automatic transfer to someone who asked once and you said yes, and then forgot to stop it. It is not a large number individually, but compounded over 24 months, it is the difference between having nothing and having enough to breathe. The cards want you to look at your statements tonight, not tomorrow. Tonight, for others, the invisible tax was not money leaving your account. It was energy leaving your body for free. You gave consultations, you gave advice. You gave your professional skill to a friend's startup, to a cousin's project, to a partner's side venture, and you said, "Oh, don't worry about paying me," because asking felt transactional, and you were raised to believe that love and labor should not mix. So you worked for free and called it generosity, and wondered why your own bank balance mocked you every Friday. That was not generosity. That was a tax you levied on yourself because somewhere in your wiring you decided your time was less valuable than everyone else's comfort. The cards are asking you to release that belief tonight. It is not yours. It was installed, and the one who installed it does not get to profit from your obedience any longer. And now the third card. I am pausing before I turn it because the energy shifts here. The energy gets heavier, more specific, almost confrontational. The card is the Five of Swords upright in the position of the hand that held the gate shut. And before your mind goes to a villain, before you picture cruel boss or a manipulative ex, I need you to hear the full message. The Five of Swords is conflict, yes. A battle where someone won and someone lost. But in this position, the deck is showing me that the hand on the gate was not always another person. For some of you, it was an institution. A company that kept you in a probationary cycle for 2 years. A government office that lost your paperwork. A bank that said no 3 times in a row, and you internalized that no as a verdict on your worthiness. You thought, maybe I am not supposed to have this. Maybe abundance is not shaped like me. And that thought became the hand on the gate for others. And I need you to stay with me here because this one stings. The hand was your own voice, your own Virgo perfectionism whispering, "You are not ready. You need one more certification, one more year of experience, one more season of proving yourself before you deserve to be paid what you are actually worth." And so you underpriced yourself. You stayed in the junior role. You did not send the invoice. You did not negotiate. You waited for permission that was never coming because the person who had to give it was you. The Five of Swords in this position is the deck saying, the battle is over. You do not have to win it retroactively. You do not have to go back and argue the case. The gate is not being forced open by you, it is being removed, and the removal is not your labor. That is the entire point of what is coming in August. You do not break through. You simply walk forward and the wall is not there anymore. Let that land. Let your shoulders drop 1 more inch. You have been bracing for a fight that has already been called off. The fourth card falls, and it is the Eight of Wands, the crack in the gate. Upright, this card is pure velocity. It is the sudden acceleration of things that have been stuck in mud for years. The deck is showing me that the seal is breaking right now, in this exact month, and it is not breaking with a slow, gentle creak. It is shattering because the pressure behind it has reached its limit. For some of you, this crack is happening in your career or your business. You have been sending proposals into the void, waiting on approvals that seem to require 3 layers of bureaucracy. And suddenly this week, the emails are flying, the phone is ringing. The people who ghosted you for 6 months are suddenly replying within minutes. It feels chaotic. It feels almost overwhelming because you are so used to the slow drip of rejection or silence that this sudden rush of momentum triggers your nervous system. You might even feel a flash of panic, thinking something is wrong because it is moving too fast. For others of you, the crack in the gate is happening in your personal life, specifically around your living situation or a family entanglement. A legal process that was stalled in court suddenly gets a hearing date. A house that would not sell suddenly gets 3 offers. A family member who has been draining your resources and refusing to leave suddenly announces they have found a new place. The stagnation is over. The cards are telling you not to resist the speed. Do not try to slow it down to make it feel safe. The speed is the proof that the blockage is gone. The fifth card turns, and it is the Page of Pentacles, the messenger. This is the vehicle or the person who carries the news of your financial shift to you. The page is young, grounded, and focused on the material world. The cards are showing me that the news does not come from the CEO, the head of the family, or the highest authority figure you have been trying to impress. It comes from somewhere you might initially overlook. For some of you, the messenger is a literal person, a junior colleague, an assistant, new hire, or a younger family member who is handling the administrative side of a transition. They are the one who hands you the folder, who forwards the email, who says the words that change your life. You might be tempted to dismiss them because they do not look like the gatekeeper you expected, but the deck insists you pay close attention to the younger or less senior people in your orbit this month. They hold the keys. For others of you, the messenger is not a human being at all. It is a digital notification. It is an automated system, a portal update, a generic email from a billing department or a government agency that arrives in your inbox at a completely mundane time, like a Tuesday afternoon while you are folding laundry. You might almost delete it thinking it is spam or a routine reminder. Do not. The Page of Pentacles asks you to open every notification, to read the fine print of every automated message, because the universe is using the most unassuming, bureaucratic channels to deliver your inheritance of ease. And now the sixth card. I am taking a breath before I name it because the energy in this position is incredibly potent. It is the Ace of Pentacles, the number, the actual financial injection. The ace is the seed of material manifestation, the purest form of physical abundance the tarot can offer. In this position, it represents the core of the soft life that is arriving. The deck is showing me a figure, a specific energetic weight of money that is coming to reset your baseline. For some of you, this is a lump sum, a single massive injection of capital that lands in your account all at once. This could be a severance package that is far larger than you anticipated, legal settlement, buyout of your shares, an inheritance that finally clears probate, or back pay that the universe has been collecting on your behalf. It is a number that, when you see it, makes you cover your mouth. For others of you, the Ace of Pentacles is not a one-time windfall, but a massive shift in your recurring baseline. It is a new salary that doubles your previous income, massive retainer contract from a single client, or a royalty rate that suddenly scales. Notice what your body does when I say lump sum versus recurring baseline. Does your chest expand at the idea of one giant check? Or does it relax at the idea of a permanently elevated monthly income? That physical reaction is your intuition telling you exactly how your soft life is being structured. But I need to warn you about the emotional turn that happens right after the number lands. The moment you see the figure, a wave of guilt or imposter syndrome will try to rush into your Virgo mind, will immediately try to calculate what you have to do to earn it, who you have to pay back, or what the catch is. You will look at the zeros and think you need to put it in a high-yield account, pay off everyone else's debt, or invest it so it doesn't disappear. The cards are screaming at you to stop. There is no catch. This is not an advance on your future labor. This is a correction of your past underpayment. Let the number just be a number. Let it sit in your account without immediately assigning it a job. The seventh card flips to seal this sequence. It is justice, the proof document. This is the physical or digital artifact you will hold in your hands that makes the promise legally and materially real. Justice is about balance, contracts, and karmic equilibrium. The deck is showing me that this financial shift is not a casual verbal promise. It is bound in ink. For some of you, this is a literal legal document. A contract with your signature on the last page, a deed to a property, a formal settlement agreement that explicitly states the terms of your release and your compensation. You will hold this document, or you will sign it with a digital pen, and the physical act of signing it will feel like closing a massive chapter of your life. For others of you, the proof document is financial or institutional. It is a bank statement showing a cleared wire transfer. It is an official letter on a corporate or government letterhead that you will download, print out, and stare at for a long time just to prove to yourself that it is not a dream. Justice in this position is the universe balancing the scales. You gave too much for too little for years. You absorbed the shocks for everyone else. This document is the mathematical correction of that imbalance. When you receive it, do not rush to the next thing. Do not immediately start planning the next hustle. The cards want you to sit with the paper. Feel the weight of the correction. The gate is open. The messenger has arrived. The number is real, and the proof is in your hands. The eighth card turns, and it is the Two of Cups upright, the first exhale. And I want you to understand why the deck chose a relationship card for a position about your first 24 hours after the money lands. Because the first thing that happens is not you opening a savings account or calling a financial advisor. The first thing that happens is you turn to someone and you breathe out. For some of you, that someone is a partner. You have been carrying the financial weight in silence for so long because you did not want to worry them, did not want to seem like you were failing, did not want to add another burden to their plate. And the moment the notification hits your phone or the document lands in your inbox, you look up and you say, "It's here," and they look at you and they do not fully understand yet. But they see your face and something in your jaw unclenches for the first time in years. You cry, not the pretty, cinematic kind of crying. The ugly, snotty, chest-heaving kind where your body is physically ejecting 2 years of held breath. For others of you, the person you turn to is not a romantic partner. It is a friend, a sibling, a mother. Someone who knew the full weight of what you were carrying, because you told them at 2 in the morning when you could not sleep. And you call them and your voice cracks on the first syllable, and you just say the amount or you say the words. It cleared, and they scream on the other end. The Two of Cups in this position is the deck saying that the soft life does not begin with luxury. It begins with witness. It begins with someone else seeing that the war is over. Do not deny yourself that moment. Do not say, "I'll tell them later, let me process this alone first." Your nervous system needs a witness to confirm the shift is real. Let someone see you fall apart in the best way. The ninth card flips, and it is the Three of Swords reversed. The relationship that shifts because of it, and this one is tender. The Three of Swords upright is heartbreak, betrayal, wound that defines you. Reversed in this position, It is the wound finally being allowed to scar over because the conditions that kept it open are gone. The cards are showing me that your financial arrival changes the dynamic of a specific relationship permanently. For some of you, this is a romantic relationship that was slowly being poisoned by money stress. You were not fighting because you did not love each other. You were fighting because you were both exhausted and the scarcity was making you short, resentful, suspicious of each other's choices. The money arriving does not fix the relationship like magic, but it removes the poison from the water. Suddenly, you are not snapping about groceries or the electric bill. Suddenly, you can look at your partner and remember why you chose them before survival mode made everything sharp. For others of you, the relationship that shifts is one where you were the provider, a parent, a sibling, an adult child. And the shift is not that you give them more. The shift is that the money arrives in such a way that you are no longer required to be their financial infrastructure. The settlement covers their need. The inheritance includes them. The job change means you are no longer the only one holding the rope, and the dynamic changes from obligation to choice. You can love them without financing them. And that, the deck insists, is the deepest healing the Three of Swords reversed can offer. Notice if your chest just ached in a specific direction. That is the relationship. That is the one that gets to heal because of what is coming. The 10th card turns, and it is the Seven of Cups reversed. The door that was locked and now simply is not. Upright, the Seven of Cups is illusion, overwhelm, too many choices that are not real. Reversed, it is clarity. The fog lifting. The realization that the door you were banging on, the one you were bruising your fists against, was never actually locked. It was a painted door. A wall with a picture of a door on it, and the real entrance was 3 feet to the left, wide open, waiting. The deck is showing me that for the past year or more, you have been fixated on one specific path to financial relief, one specific job you were trying to get, one specific person you were waiting to pay you back, one specific investment or venture you thought was the answer. And you poured all your Virgo analysis, all your planning, all your desperate hope into that one door, and it did not open. And you thought it was because you were not smart enough, not persistent enough, not worthy enough. The Seven of Cups reversed is the card saying, you were staring at the wall. The real door was never that one. The real door is the one opening in August, and it comes from direction you did not have on your spreadsheet. For some of you, this means the job you were trying to get is irrelevant now because the money comes through a completely different channel. For others, this means the person you were waiting on to validate you, to choose you, to finally see your worth, is no longer the gatekeeper of your future. Their opinion no longer determines your income. Their silence no longer determines your value. The door they guarded simply ceases to exist. You walk past the spot where it used to be, and you do not even look back. And that lack of looking back is the proof that the spell is broken. The 11th card flips and I feel a long, slow exhale in the energy here. It is the death card upright, the old identity that dissolves. And before you flinch, before your mind goes to loss or ending or something being taken from you, I need you to hear what death means in this specific position. It is not a punishment. It is a graduation. The death card here is the version of you who defined herself by her usefulness, by her labor, by how much she could endure. The Virgo who believed that if she stopped being productive, she stopped being worthy of love. The one who equated rest with laziness and ease with moral failure. That identity is dying in August 2026, not because it was bad, not because it was weak, but because it served its purpose. It kept you alive through the lean years. It carried you through the invisible tax and the weight and the locked doors. But it cannot come with you into the soft life. It would sabotage it. It would find a way to turn abundance into another task, another obligation, another thing to optimize. And the cards are saying no. You are not allowed to optimize your rest. You are not allowed to earn your Tuesday morning. The death card in this position is the deck asking you to grieve the identity that made you feel safe through suffering. Because safety is no longer the assignment, ease is the assignment, and ease will feel foreign at first. It will feel like wearing someone else's skinches. You will wake up in September or October with no urgent task, and your body will panic for approximately 10 minutes before it remembers. Let it panic. Let it learn the new rhythm. The old you is not being punished. She is being retired with full honors. She did the work, she carried the load, and now she gets to sit down. The 12th card turns and it is the Four of Wands upright. the soft life blueprint. And the cards are painting me a picture so specific, so domestic, so quietly revolutionary, that I need you to close your eyes for a moment and let it build itself behind your eyelids. The Four of Wands is celebration, homecoming, the structure of a life that is no longer provisional. In this position, the deck is showing me your Tuesday in November, not a vacation, not a highlight reel, a Tuesday. And the first thing the cards show me is that you wake up without an alarm. Not because you are lazy, not because you have no purpose, but because the architecture of your day is no longer owned by someone else's schedule. For some of you, this Tuesday morning involves coffee made slowly, in a kitchen that has natural light, and you are not checking your phone before your feet hit the floor. You are not scanning emails while your toast burns. You are standing at a window and you are watching the sky change color, and your body is not in fight or flight. That is the blueprint. That is the revolution. For others of you, the Tuesday looks different. You are still working, still creating, still engaged with the world. But the nature of the engagement has changed. You are choosing your hours. You are choosing your clients. You are saying no without a paragraph of justification. You are billing what you are actually worth, and the invoice is paid in 2 days, not 60. The Four of Wands is the deck saying that the soft life is not the absence of activity. It is the presence of sovereignty. You are the one deciding the shape of your day. And that sovereignty was purchased with every year you spent in the old identity, carrying the weight, paying the invisible tax. You earned this Tuesday, not through hustle, through survival. And the universe is finally crediting your account for the full term of your endurance. The 13th card flips, and it is the Wheel of Fortune upright. The confirmation. And this is the card I needed to see because it tells me the first event is not a fluke. The wheel upright is a full rotation, cycle completing. Destiny moving in your favor not by accident but by design. The deck is showing me that 2 to 4 weeks after the initial financial arrival, a second event occurs that confirms the first was not a one-time anomaly. For some of you, this confirmation is a second document, a tax refund that arrives unexpectedly, a dividend or royalty payment from something you created years ago that you had forgotten was still generating income. A small inheritance from a distant relative that you did not even know existed. It is not the same magnitude as the first arrival, but it is the universe tapping you on the shoulder and saying, "See, this is not glitch. This is your new baseline." The wheel has turned and it is staying turned. For others of you, the confirmation is relational. Someone from the old system, the old job, the old dynamic reaches out to you, not to pull you back, not to guilt you, but to acknowledge what happened, to say, "You were right, you deserved more. I'm sorry it took this long." And that acknowledgement, that small verbal receipt, is the wheel confirming that the cycle is genuinely closed. You do not need their apology to heal. But when it arrives, you will feel a final knot dissolve in your stomach that you did not know was still there. The Wheel of Fortune in this position is the deck's guarantee. One event could be luck, two events. Spaced weeks apart is a pattern, and the pattern is abundance. The pattern is ease, the pattern is yours. The 14th and final card turns, the Empress upright, the vow you make to yourself. And I need you to hear this card with your whole body because it is not a prediction. It is a request. The Empress is the mother of all living things, the one who nurtures without depleting herself, the one who creates abundance simply by existing in alignment with her nature. In this position, the deck is asking you to make a vow tonight, not to me, not to the cards, to yourself. The vow is this: you will not immediately pour the new abundance into everyone else's cup before filling your own. You will not take the settlement and immediately pay off 3 relatives. You will not take the new salary and immediately volunteer to cover the team's budget gap. You will not take the soft life and hand it back because someone looked at you with need and you felt guilty for having enough. The Empress is saying, you are allowed to be full before you are generous. You are allowed to receive before you redistribute. And I know how hard that is for you. I know your wiring says that love is service, that worth is output, that if you are not useful, you are invisible. The Empress is dismantling that wiring tonight. She is saying your existence is the contribution. Your rest is the revolution. Your full bank account is not a tool for other people's survival. It is evidence that you are finally being mothered by the universe the way you always mothered everyone else. Say the vow. Even if you say it in your chest, silently with your eyes closed, say, "I will receive before I give. I will rest before I work. I will keep some of this for myself." The cards are listening. The universe is listening. and the Empress is sealing it. And now I need to talk to you about timing and arrival because the cards have been very specific with me about how this reaches your physical reality. The window the deck is insisting on is 2 to 4 months from now. That places the initial arrival firmly within August of 2026, with the confirmation landing in September. I want to be precise because I know your mind needs a container. You need to know you are not waiting forever. You are not in an open-ended sentence. There is a date range, there is a season, and within that season, the mechanism of arrival is specific. The cards are showing me a message. For some of you, this is an email that arrives on a weekday morning. The subject line is mundane. It looks like a form letter. You almost do not open it, but something makes you click, and the first line contains your full legal name and a reference number. And the second paragraph contains a figure that makes your hands go cold. For others of you, the arrival is in person. A meeting you thought was routine. You walk in expecting a performance review or a standard check-in, and the person across the table slides a folder toward you or opens their laptop and turns it to face you and says a sentence that begins with, "We want to discuss your transition." And the word transition, which used to terrify you, now carries the weight of liberation. You will hear fragments of language. Backdated to, effective immediately. The full amount will be deposited within. You are released from any further obligation. Let those fragments settle in your body. Those are the words the cards are handing me. Those are the words you will hear.